Hello everybody and welcome to the 4th episode of the Unchained Vodcast. I know we just totally swapped things up from 3 screens to 2, but it's just going to be Kriss and I here today. How are you doing, Kriss, and how are you doing, chat?
I'm doing pretty well, actually. It's been a busy day, but I'm still pumped up by the film I saw a couple days ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just teasing. No,
I have not seen that yet. If anybody posts any spoilers in chat.
By the delay on the reveal for the crafting, but I'm hoping it's gonna Tuesday's gonna make it for it.
Yeah, I figured you would be a little bit saddened about that. For everyone that doesn't know what Kriss is referring to, which I'm hoping and sure you all do, the crafting live stream from Friday, or from yesterday, got delayed and moved to Tuesday so that they can pack all kinds of other cool stuff in with it and drop it all off at once to kind of recap the whole year. And so you've got that to look forward to. Tuesday, we actually have another little tidbit to look forward to. I guess to look forward to right now, being that it is in winter season, and I'm going to show that to you right now, just for awesomeness. It is snow. I saw this on Twitter like an hour before the cast started.
Yeah, I saw that on Facebook.
Yeah, CSE posted this up showing that they are working on snow. So that seems appropriate since it is wintertime, and we know that they will have to have that for the
Vikings.
For the Vikings and their territory, and of course all the domains and map shifting and the weather changing and everything. So that's cool. Great. It does look good. I mean, it looks nice. It's looks pretty natural. It's just kind of floating around. Yep. Got a little bit of chaos in there, but not too much. Falling at a pretty good rate. So, looks good. I wanted to pull that up real quick. I did also want to say I got my merch. I know probably not everybody has theirs yet, especially, you know, Kriss, yours has to go a little farther than mine does. And I may or may not have gotten marked, especially... No, he didn't. But... But still, it got here just in time for this episode. I got my shirt. I got my posters. I will say, to echo their own words about them, they came in a very sturdy box. Everything was kind of compacted and shipped and protected, and it was all nice. Everything came in really good quality. The posters are excellent quality. They're really thick, not like the little cheap, crappy ones. They're all very nice. My shirt fits nice. I got a extra large, and I'm a little bit big, so it fits fine. So you're probably gonna see me wearing this for the other casts. So you still have. I can't say you still have time to get stuff by Christmas. I really don't know that. I don't know how long it takes them to ship it. But still,
you can still have them anyway.
Yeah, it's Christmas season. They're almost to the next stretch goal for the programmers. We need to get those programmers in so that hopefully we can have Beta 1 sometime this decade. And
it's not Star Citizen. We'll have it. They promised before the end of winter. So.
Yeah, I know, but I want it sooner, and they'll get more. Okay, let's look at it this way. We'll get more cool stuff in Beta 1 maybe if they get more programmers sooner. So. Merchandise, it's still available. I got a web link for it here. Bam, post that up in chat, where you can buy stuff from merch line. And of course, it's Christmas season. You might know somebody that you can gift Camelot Unchained to. I'm just saying. Yep. Anyway, I'll stop marketing their stuff and trying to sell things for them. They're too proud to push it. I'll push it for them. I can't even say that. They've been showing up on videos, them wearing the stuff and everything too. So, not entirely too proud. Anyway, today we're talking about guilds and talking about guild rewards. This topic has come up on and off a little bit on different forums.
Stretch goals.
Yeah, and we had the Realm Rewards on Steroids stretch goal, which really talked a little bit more about individual Realm Rewards. But it also did mention that some of these would be guild rewards, things that achievements you can get in PvP in the RVR zone, just from being active and everything, that get you stuff. Get you cool stuff so that you can be proud of your realm, hopefully proud of your guild, boost up that pride.
Which hasn't been there for a while, and should.
Yeah. One of the main things that I think is an important consideration for this, though, is talking about how we can have the realm rewards, how they can do that while still promoting both the large guilds and the small guilds equally. Because we don't want to exclude the small guilds. We know they're going to be in there.
Yes, but at the same time, you know that as a small guild, be it by the number of members and by the firepower, you have to distinguish the big and the small guilds, because it will push also the big guilds to be more active. Even the small guild, the bigger and the more powerful they get, the better rewards they'll get.
Yeah.
So it's kind of in French we call that the carrot, pushing people to actually do better.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I mean, there are a lot of guilds that do like to maintain a relatively smaller member count.
Yeah.
They just want 20 people, and so that's one thing I've been thinking of is how do they provide realm rewards for guilds without too heavily favor. I mean, it's going to favor the large guilds no matter what, I think, because they have more people. They have more people. They have more people. But how do they still provide adequate rewards to the smaller guilds?
I'd say it can be also proportional. With our daily reports, depending on the size of the guild, your contribution to the realm can be calculated also depending on the size of your guild, rather than on a total number of keeps taken or enemies killed or whatever, but more like an average for the realm depending on your size.
Yeah, I definitely think it's necessary that they, that they make it activity based. I mean, they already said it's going to be activity based. It's got to be activity based. I don't want to see anything, like, oh, you get such and such reward for having X number of members. I think that'd just be cheesy. I don't see any reason to have something like that. It might
be interesting, well, practical actually, to have more functionality depending on the number of members, because it would make it easier to handle your guild in game.
Yeah.
A 200 members guild might need, for example, more ranks than a 50 members guild or than a 20 members guild. So that's more in that line that I would say numbers would matter and would have to have a different set of functionalities than a smaller one, because the smaller one will be more kind of like family based, and so Donnie looked at the shirt, so it would be more practical to handle the guild this way. But that's about the only reason I would see being fair to go with the numbers rather than the achievements.
I agree. And what would chat? I think the best place to start the conversation about guild features and guild rewards is, what do you think are standard guild features? Because I've noticed I had a topic on this on Realms Unchained at one point. In fact, I wrote. Well, I'll talk to them about that later. But I had a discussion topic on Realms Unchained about guild features, and I noticed there was some differences in what people considered to be standard, like mandatory guild features. So I was wondering what you and what chat would think are some required features to have.
The first one is a bank, of course, with the possibility to actually have a wide range of permissions depending on the ranks. So guild ranks, bank, and um, that's more kind of the hopeful RPer in me. The ability to name your own ranks rather than having standardized rank names.
It's usually preferred, yeah.
That's the two main things for me. The modular ranks that you can set the permissions for, and the bank. Also a guild chat, of course. That's the minimum, but that's kind of standard.
Yeah, what game doesn't have guild chat?
Yeah.
That would be pretty sad. I'm not saying anything
one thing that is essential to me, and that's been heated discussion on the forums, is one guild, one character.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's been all over the place. I think that's, especially ever since TSO, people have been really into the whole no multi-guilding thing.
No.
Or, yeah, I like multi-guilds. I'm with you. No multi-guilding.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a thing that's going to happen in this game at all. It's not even...
Yeah, I don't think also.
It's not even worthy of argument.
Killed the guild pride.
Yeah, and I think that's what it all comes down to.
The guild pride.
You got to have the they want to push realm pride, they want to push guild pride. You can't have guild pride with multi guilds. I don't think it's possible. Arcane Cloister said, "Surely your guild crafters build a bank." Oh, that would be good.
I'm okay with that.
That would be good. A building upgrade to build a bank. That would be pretty nice. Because I know that's why Kriss wants it. He wants it for all his crafting mats. Exactly. I haven't seen any suggestions in chat. I had a few. Let me see here if I can read my chicken scratch. Guild message of the day is something I think is pretty standard that I think is really freaking useful. Of course, having the roster.
A lot of people don't read it, actually.
Yeah, but, sometimes it's nice. And guild roster, and especially for me as a guild leader of what is usually going to be a pretty big guild, having the last members log in, I think that's a pretty standard feature, but some games don't include it, and it drives me crazy when they don't. They're like, oh, you don't need to know when the last time this person logged in. I'm like, yes, I do.
The secret wall.
I will kick them out.
The secret wall of the last login in the guild roster. It was as an officer, it was a pain in the butt to manage the activity. You had to have them. Basically, you had to have them all in your friends list to be able to see when they last logged in.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, who wants that many people in their friends list?
That and guild also in the guild roster, officers and leaders notes for members.
Oh yeah.
For example, that a member on low activity, you can note it, and every officer can track that. And for other members also to put notes. There's one thing that is kind of a small perk that has been introduced actually very recently in Terra, was a customized message when you log in, broadcast to your guild chat. I think it's fun.
That's interesting.
It's a fun little thing.
That could also be really annoying, I imagine.
But that's what I mean. Something you could turn off on your end to not see it, but at the same time, I don't know. That's something that's nice.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about the member and the officer notes, but you're right. In games that have had those have been really freaking useful to me.
Yes.
Especially the officer notes. Sometimes the member notes are pretty handy too. Some games even show what class someone's character is and stuff. That's useful, but it's not something I use a ton really, to be honest. But so given those standard features, what would chat? I'm looking at you, chat. And what would you specifically consider to be some awesome extra features that they could have in for guilds that would just be awesome?
Actually, still staying on the roster, being able to sort your roster by class, seeing your balance in different classes.
And that shouldn't be hard. Yeah.
Yeah, that shouldn't be hard. You shouldn't have to note every name on the paper to how many of each class you have.
Sort by last login.
Yes, sort by last login.
Who am I kicking out today?
That one is not even cool. It's essential as well with the last login. What else? The guild emblem. Not a tabard. I'm okay with the tabard.
I like tabards.
I always cringe when I hear about the tabard because the first thing it makes me think of is World of Warcraft, and you know what I think about that game. So, but maybe even just the armor is next to the name. You know, just a little symbol next to the name. Although the names is another discussion altogether with the stealth, but being able to display on top on you or next to your name your guild emblem, especially if you have a cool one.
I think we're getting a little bit into guild rewards now, maybe.
It might actually, yeah.
we might bleed over a little bit. Cool's asked if we've talked about alliance chat. We don't really have anything confirmed about alliances. However, I do hope they're in game, and I really hope there is a separate alliance chat. I also hope guilds have an officer chat and allow people to make custom chats.
Yes.
Speaking of extra awesome things,
alliance chat. If we have custom chats, alliance chat is not completely necessary because you can create it directly.
You can, but I would kind of rather have an automatic alliance chat. That means when you join an alliance, it adds you to alliance chat.
It means you have a whole game mechanic for alliances.
Yeah, which I think is going to be kind of an important thing for this game.
It might actually, yeah.
Yeah, one of the things that reflects back to the roster again, that I think would be awesome is, and you kind of mentioned it a little bit with the custom ranks, just overall more control and customizability with the roster itself. More ranks. There's like never enough ranks. Some games are like 3 ranks is enough, and I'm just in there going, it's not. It's really not. And sometimes I don't want them all to be hierarchical. Sometimes I do want 2 ranks to have the same permissions.
Yeah.
But they're 2 different ranks. I just want to note them.
Each officer.
Yeah, this guy does PvE, this guy does PvP. Obviously, that's not an issue in this game, but you know, this guy's a crafting officer. This guy's the PvP officer.
Diplomacy.
They have the same access, but I just want them, noted separately. We could maybe use member comments or something for that, or officer comments too. There's a couple ways to beat that horse to death.
Also, that's never been done, and I doubt it ever be done. But having more of, instead of just a linear guild roster, being able to have, like in a company, a pyramidal one, where you can assign people to different departments, for example, where if each officer can supervise different members and things like that. That would be cool.
Yeah, I posted a link in chat to an article I mentioned a few minutes ago that I wrote on Realms Unchained months ago about guilds on steroids. It was basically all the crazy stuff I would like to see in guilds myself. Arcane Cloister asked what size are guilds allowed to be. They have not said yet.
We have no idea.
We have no idea what kind of cap they're going to put on that. I hope it's not too...
I don't even know the group size. So.
Yeah, I hope it's not too big of one, honestly. Like, if it was like 120, I wouldn't have an issue with that. I might not even have too much of an issue with 100 because this is a smaller scale game. Guilds may not, on average, get that big, but I don't want to see anything too small. Like, to me, anything beneath 100 would be too small. I'm not a big fan of guild member caps to begin with. We were actually discussing this on our guild forums this week, and some people were saying they're kind of for guild member caps because it counters the Zerg. To me, it doesn't counter the Zerg at all, because they'll just make multiple guilds and then get on VoIP, get on Skype, or well, not Skype, but get on TeamSpeak or something, and they'll run together anyway. It doesn't matter. To me, it doesn't have... I don't see what purpose it really has, except maybe countering the realm rewards.
Yeah, I don't feel a max number of members in a guild is really useful anyway.
I don't like it, no.
I'm okay with the minimum, but the minimum being pretty small,
Yeah.
like 10. But that's all. Maximum cap, unless it puts too much of a strain on the UI or something like that. For technical reasons, I'm okay with that. But if it's just for opinion reasons, no. I think for me a cap in guild members, in the number of guild members, doesn't serve anything.
Yeah, and I really don't like it when games add an artificial cap in there that you can expand through realm rewards, through getting gold or something. It adds a grind for no reason. They're intentionally just trying to milk money out of it because they couldn't come up with any better way. That's really annoying because that's not a guild achievement to me. I'm like, oh yeah, my guild's 100 people. We've expanded it 5 times. I'm like, well, if you have that many members, you could have done that anyway. It doesn't.
Yeah, pretty much.
You could have got those resources.
One thing, I don't remember who mentioned it in the thread also, since we branched a bit in the guild rewards, would be, but that should be an achievement. The more you defend the keeps you have, the bigger the territory you can own as a guild, and the bigger the territory you can build on.
That was something I was actually going to mention in realm rewards, which we can divert into briefly. Was the idea of, for a realm reward being, as a realm reward, the size of a keep that your guild could actually build and control. So, say you can only control X amount of territory until you've achieved a certain level with your guild, and then you're suddenly freer to control a larger keep, essentially.
And it's also logical, because allowing a small guild to build a lot of keeps or big keeps that they can't defend, that's giving materials and power to the other realms for free, because they can't defend them.
Yeah.
And it's a strain on the other guilds that will have to go and try to defend that for the guild who built it.
Yeah, I think it could make a lot of sense.
It's more proving you can defend what you have, so you can have more, until you prove that more you can defend it also, and etc. Rather than just giving all of space directly.
Another awesome guild feature I would like to see, which I believe is mentioned in that article too, is expanded like guild land permissions. Tying into that, different permissions you can set for your territory, like who can edit on it. You know, can all your guild members build on that? Can only certain ones build on that? I don't know how we obviously don't know how they're going to control that yet, and that's going to be really kind of important. One thing that I really thought would be cool is if guilds could have guild map notations. Like, I don't mean like, hey, we can ping on the map and go, guys, there's things over here, because that's what scouts are going to be doing. But I mean like permanent map things that they could maybe buy or something that would add to their member maps and go, this is an area we want to defend, or something like that, you know?
Yeah. And branching on that as a guild reward, eventually, when you've defended, for example, a keep long enough or an area long enough, being able to name it.
Yes, one thing I would like to see is, at least if you have a keep, at least when people walk to it, or if it shows up on the map or something, show the guild name that owns it. That would be pretty cool. Yeah. Let's see.
And maybe since they develop quite a bit of lore, having it like for huge battles. For example, in Tiso, the Shalamo is now kind of general knowledge, legend. It was during the beta, and it was a huge event. There was not a lot of people involved, but it was in impact. It had a lot of impact on how the game was seen. So it was mentioned, even NPCs inside the keep, the Chalamo keep, mentioned that battle. So I would love to see that added, big battles or guilds that have defended and contributed to the realm the most being mentioned in the lore.
That is the kind of additions and accomplishments that I think are really cool and can be really huge if they pay attention to what's going on in the game and they add that in there. It's small things, but it means the world to different people.
Yes.
We got Arcane Cloister saying that he thinks the guild rewards should come from the Realm King. If your guild really helps in a battle or something, then the guild gets something cool. I'm not sure if this is what he's saying, but it brings an interesting question. Should we get points or something from the king that are like, hey, you've got 50 rupees or guild reward points or whatever they're called, and then we can buy things from them? Or should we just be handed rewards and not necessarily get to choose what reward we get when?
It might be depending on the level of the reward, maybe. It could be a mix of both, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, I'm personally...
The basic ones should be handed by the king, because at the beginning it will be small achievements. Once you should have a choice, maybe even a limited one. But I don't want to see a reward shop, though.
Well, see, that's what I've been picturing, is like a reward shop where you get resource rewards of some sort that you can be used in the shop, but then you have things honestly, you can buy to unlock honestly, for your guild.
I would hate that. I would more prefer the king saying, "It's in my power. You made a huge thing for the realm. It's in my power to give you that, or that. You choose between those, which one you want."
I will say my only problem with that is then they have to create a hierarchy. They have to create a scale that says this is what you get when, and this is what you get, and you're gonna. They would, but it's not necessarily exhaustive. If they create the hierarchy, your first reward you get this. Okay, my next reward I get this. Then they've got 15 of these. Okay, so we get all 15. Then what? Can we not get any more rewards? Do we just loop back through the thing? Do we keep picking the top tier one over and over again? What happens once we get there? And when we get there, do we no longer care anymore? Or it could be a mixture, though, as you say. Like they could have a chart that you go through, and then when you get to a certain tier, maybe you get rewards that you can use to buy certain repeatable things, like maybe standards you can put out that you can use, or banners that cost a certain amount but have a duration, and they kind of go up. I'm trying to see what Cools is saying here. I think that should be automatic areas of control around keeps and resources you own, but it should only be visible to your... I don't know what he's asking, to be honest. Fog of War,
From what he says, and branching from that, because I'm not sure exactly what he's going to also, but for example, if you defend a keep and your keep stays long enough, it shouldn't be covered anymore by the Fog of War, because it should be common knowledge that right here is the Auto Veritas key. Okay, so you shouldn't have to explore it anymore. It should be visible on the map because it's common knowledge. So it fits, lore-wise, it fits the narrative, and mechanics-wise, it's logical also because everybody will have tried to take that keep, so people know where it is. There's no need to cover it anymore. I
think what he's saying is keeps that aren't yours, keeps that are other guilds or whatever, you won't know that they're there on your map until you actually visit them and see them. I will say that doesn't gel with me with how scouts work. Because scouts can go out and say there are enemies here and it spreads to everyone's map. So it would seem to me that if a keep gets built, your realm would know that and it gets spread to your map. So your map would automatically update when a keep is built or destroyed, I would think.
At least for your realm.
At least for your realm, yes. Not the other realm. It would have
to be scouted first.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Realm,
anyway, I did have a couple more awesome guild features I wanted to discuss briefly. First one I wanted to see, because this one would maybe be simpler. How do you feel about the idea of guild stores?
I like the idea of the guild selling to others.
Yes, that's what I mean.
Yeah. I actually, especially in that game, where crafting and commerce are huge.
You like the idea of using that versus like a crafter having their own store?
It can be both. If a crafter uses his own resources to build his stuff and sell it for his own profit, that's fine. But at the same time, if you're a member of a guild, you can have work orders from the guild for the guild to sell, to have some money to buy materials, to buy better armor or weapons for their members, etc. That gives it's another form of guild tax that doesn't actually requires the members to pay.
That was my next question. This is something that's kind of weird that may not work, is the traditional guild tax. I usually am in favor of having a guild tax for members because it's kind of a less painful, well, depending on your guild and how crazy they are, it's usually kind of a less painful way to pay for stuff the guild needs, but we don't even know if this game is going to have, I mean, we assume it's going to have some kind of currency, I guess.
Yeah.
But they haven't said anything about that, really. There's no auction house.
Nope.
But they have mentioned shops, so I guess there has to be some kind of a currency to buy things with.
Of course.
So
there will be currency because the only ones that who will receive money probably are going to be the combatant. The crafters, I doubt the crafters will get money from the daily rewards. They might get materials instead.
Do you think the daily rewards is how we get money though? Because since there's not really PvE questing, how do you get money? That was my idea. Was how could guild tax work? Because where does the money even come from?
Exactly. That's why. Maybe that's also a modular guild tax then, because then combatants can pay in coins their guild tax, but crafters will pay in work time and in crafting time. That then the guild can sell, because a reasonable, let's say an average-sized guild, will be able to craft better stuff faster than an individual crafter, because we don't know if it's gonna happen or not. But in the BSC video, they said that crafters can pull together to make legendary craft go faster. If that's the case, that means bigger guild can have. There's going to be a cap. If that actually happens, there's going to be a cap. For example, 4 or 5 crafters only can work together on one work order. But that means they can work on 4, 5, 6 work orders at the same time and having legendary ready to sell in their shop to make money. So I would say that's the first part of the guild revenues. The second part, which should be also probably a guild reward, a realm reward for the guild, is being able to tax other shops, other crafters setting shop in your keep or in your town that you have built.
That was going to be my next suggestion, and I think that would actually be a really cool thing to have. Is if you build a keep and people go through that keep, it's an awesome keep, people need it. Then they can build more people. You can choose to enable to allow other shops there. I don't think you should have to, but you can choose to allow other shops to build there, and then you get like 5% of their purchases or something, in some sort of funds.
Maybe you decide of the percentage, because maybe if you have a city that is well defended, close to the front line, which is extremely practical for everybody. Go through, store stuff before going to the safe zone, sell stuff for those who going to the front line. You can take more taxes than a guild city that would be closer to the safe zone, where people don't really need it. So you can charge less taxes for that.
Yeah, and I agree with Arcane Cloister. There's going to be gold sinks in CU. There's gold sinks in every MMO, and there have to be to keep the inflation down some. It is going to be kind of interesting how they do. You know what? I'm not even going to get into gold sinks because I think that would be a long conversation. How that would even work? How that could even work out in this sort of game. So let's just move on and talk about realm rewards. how, I mean, we've already kind of, but specifically, what sort of realm rewards you want to see? We already started the conversation really with, I kind of want to see a guild store where guilds use points or something to buy realm rewards. You don't. Yeah. You want to see something a little bit more hierarchical, doled out by the king. So I guess either way, what sort of things do you actually want? And chat, again, what sort of things do y'all want to see in that reward system that guilds can earn and unlock for themselves?
I'd say, first of all, since we said already that the tabard is, for most of us, either the tabard or a symbol on next to your name, is an essential part of the guild identity. I would say standards. Banners and standards, being able to display
on your keep.
On your keeps, exactly. Your banners and standards on your keep. That should be one of the first levels of realm rewards, because it's something that people will want, and most people should be able to have access to.
Battlefield standards as well.
Battlefield standards is different because that means, I don't know. I'm okay with Battlefield standards if they don't give bonuses.
No, I just mean just a flag. Point. Just a flag that shows your guild emblem.
Yeah. And says, you can charge there, there's all the fighters and
if you have
all the mages there.
Yeah, and if you have that, the guild name might not need to be as prominent on your own name, because then your guild can run around and go, look at our flag! Or they could have 20 people throw down one in a big row, and then they go charging off, and people are like, oh.
Exactly.
That was kind of cool. Okay.
That would be cool. It's true.
But they'd have, though, those I would say, I'd still want the guild tag next to my name and everything, because those would have to be kind of expensive to keep people from spamming them across the field. Look at my flag! Look at my flag! Look at my flag! Yeah. I've come to take this keep. And do you have a flag?
And destructible also.
Actually, I would say
I would. On fire, I would love that.
I would love to be able to run up to one and do an action to set it on fire. I would not want them to provide collision, though. That would be that would be problematic.
It's just, I won the battle. I'm going to go around the battlefield and burn all your banners.
More realm rewards for burning enemy banners. We already mentioned guild keeps and having them tagged on the map. I would love to actually see keeps on the map, but not necessarily have the guild's name on it, but then you can unlock setting your name on a keep and identifying it to yourself. That would be pretty cool. Arcane Closer said, name streets of your town after your guild. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
This is Order Veritas Street. Deal with it, punks.
No, that's city, and then you make members pay to have their streets named after them.
Let's see what else I've got here.
I want a Kriss Street, where all the crafters will be.
We actually already mentioned. God, we've mentioned just about everything from my list, because I was also going to mention achieving bigger keeps through achievements.
Yeah, going all the way. I think being able to build a city should be a realm reward, because it's still, the realm is supposed to belong still to the king. So it should be the king giving you the authorization to build your city there. Building houses, keeps, I'm okay with that being a bit more free. Not completely free, because otherwise it's going to be a mess, but a bit more free with the plot ownership. But for an actual city,
yeah, for really big plot of land,
it has to be one of the top guild rewards from the realm, given to you by the king, which again comes back to what I would like to see as a realm reward. The king saying, you've done a huge thing for the realm, you are powerful enough, you have contributed enough to the realm to be able to handle your own city. The king can levy taxes from the guild for owning the city, but then the city can levy taxes from others to trade in there, to store their goods, because if you have a guild city that is known to be highly defended, impregnable almost, they feel safer to store their goods there. So you could charge for that.
You could. There are actually a lot of different things that could be charged for. I mean, it would be there's a delicate thing there. They don't want to do too much, of course.
Yes.
Because that would be detrimental. One other relatively simpler and lower level reward I thought of, going back to standards and everything, would be if they included some customization for siege weapons. For instance, like, what if your crafter can build, they can build different strengths of siege weapons, of course.
Yeah.
But what if, as a realm reward, they can unlock a special model that just has little tabards and stuff on it, little banners for your guild, and then they can build the different models with those little banners and everything on them. Because that would be huge. You get on the field, and all of a sudden this huge
the ram covered in shields with our symbol.
Exactly. A big trebuchet starts rolling through with your guild logos, your guild name, and little on shields and stuff on the side. That would be your guild colors anyway. That would be pretty cool. It'd be something very identifiable too, as that's because it's something big that's moving through.
We have Auto Veritas sieging us. We're screwed.
Yeah, it's very symbolic for your enemies too. At siege range, they may not be able to see your tabards, but maybe they can see the big trebuchet with the flags hanging off of it. I like flags. It's important you cannot claim another territory without a flag.
Yes.
All right, Eddie Izzard references aside. I was trying to think if there's anything else. We kind of went through my list of things that I think would be awesome to earn.
Again, as a realm reward, a higher tier, I'd say, the guild leader getting a nobility title.
I had not considered that. That would be kind of cool, though.
It's just a few words, but it's still, for a lot of people, it means a lot. Because it means when you have the guild leader of a guild arriving, and he's a count, he's a duke, he's whatever, you know that this guild is powerful. This guild is constantly defending the realm, gaining territories, defending that we have, and doing a lot of things. So you know that it's a very active guild. Even for recruitment, it's a huge incentive.
I agree. That would actually be pretty cool. And it'd be almost an extension of individual rewards. Because that's one of the things I picture for people for individual realm rewards is having different combat-related titles. They're the champion, they're the knight, they're the, whatever the titles whatever the titles would be that they could have maybe next to their name to help demonstrate, hey, this guy is awesome. Then having something like that, having different tiers of that for the guild as well. I don't think it would be a major thing because it doesn't necessarily immediately help the guild and all of its members be awesome. But if occasionally within those tiers it bestowed on the guild leader or whatever, something like that, I think that would be pretty cool. Arcane Cloister said a head on a pole does it to me to claim land. I actually would like to see that.
That works too.
If I could just take a Viking head and or a whole Lutrapan, just
yeah. At this point, it's about the same size. It's about the same size. Lutrapan lollipop.
We actually already talked about my closing statement of how realm rewards should. Actually, I got a different question to finish this off. And again, this is for chat and for you as well. How do you think, we opened with this, but to conclude with it, how do you think realm rewards should be earned specifically? Like, what sort of actions and activities should not only earn XP and rewards for your character, but should earn rewards for your entire guild?
Well, guild activity. First, you should be in a guild group or guild raid. To earn your guild. Otherwise, it's individual rewards. But if you want to get guild rewards at the same time as individual rewards, I would say you need to be in a guild group. Although, as an individual, if you're a member of a guild, you should have an opportunity to maybe, I don't know, maybe have a percentage of your XP given, or of your fame given to your guild.
Yeah, this is kind of a tough question for me because on the one hand, I want to agree with you and say you need to be in a group with your guild members to get fame for your guild. But at the same time, I'm like, what about the smaller guilds that may be in a group with other people? They may only have 1 or 2 members in that group. Does that mean that their guild doesn't get any kind of reward? Or maybe they should still get some reward, but not as much? Does it scale depending on how many people you have on that particular battlefield? Because then you also have some classes that may not be in a group very consistently, like the Scout. They may be off on their own. Does that mean they don't add anything to their guild?
Yeah.
But then if it scales based on members out there, doesn't that just provide additional reward to the big guilds who are already going to be kind of soaking it up?
Yeah, I don't want to see rewards going for numbers of members. So they will have to find a way to account for the actions of the members, of the guild members.
I think they'll definitely keep it a bit ambiguous, like they're going to do with the daily rewards, because they don't want people to know exactly what gets them those rewards. And of course, it's easy to say participating in battle gives you rewards. I would actually like to see. I think I would like to see the guild rewards maybe tied to participation with specific achievements. Like maybe if an enemy keep falls, how many of your guild members are at that location? Was it your guild scout that identified the keep within a certain span of time? You know, things like that. Might, you take a resource or you sack a supply caravan from an enemy. You get, and your guild members are there, you know, get some kind of notoriety rather than just combat.
Yeah. No, I agree, and I think Arcane Cloister also has a good idea, but it's the souls are more materials for most of them. They're going to be enhancements for the weapons and armors. So that's more of a loot increase than a realm reward or a guild reward. But a guild group should give more, depending on, I'd say depending on how many members of the guild are in the group, it should give more fame to the guild. But at the same time, I like the idea of saying, I did that for my guild. So, for example, for one day, if the guild needs push in fame, for one day you can say, all the XP or fame I gained that day goes to my guild.
That would be interesting, though, if you had some sort of control on that. I could see that maybe being difficult to balance. Maybe there's a cap to how much you can give back to the guild, which would kind of allow maybe larger guilds, their members can back off of it a little bit and give a smaller percentage, and then smaller guilds, they just, when they really want to push for something, they can ramp up the number a little bit. I don't know. Either way, it's something I'm really excited to hear about. I really want to see what CSE ends up having to say about that.
Guilds and guild rewards, both of them.
Guilds and guild rewards. We're supposed to get a basic guild system, very basic guild system for Beta 1. Beta 1's not that far off now. Winter ends in like the beginning of March, or like the March 12th or something, I don't know. So they've essentially got like two months to get with the Beta 1 program, which is why, again, merchandise, got to get them programmers going and get them paid so they can do stuff. As a reminder to everyone, Tuesday they're having a live stream where they're going to, they're going to talk about crafting finally. I think they also said they have some art and some programming updates, and they're going to live stream the alpha game. If you are not in alpha yourself, you can get in there, you can watch the alpha gameplay live from their office. They're going to be playing it, running around, which I hope means maybe sometime soon they'll be reducing NDA if they're showing it themselves.
That's what I was about to say. Maybe they'll even announce that during the party.
Maybe, but that's not confirmation. We don't know that. We have no insider info on that, but
it's just
could happen.
Just a hopeful thinking.
It's hopeful, and if they do, y'all will see me live streaming occasionally and showing that stuff off. Till then, I won't, of course, because I'm not allowed. But we've got that coming up. This is our last episode before the new year. We went ahead and had the extra episode since we just did one last week. Today, since I assume all of you are going to probably be busy next Saturday and maybe the Saturday after that. I hope you will be. Have something to do. So
I know I will be busy at work.
Yeah, I know you'll be at work helping people, and I will be, at least for this coming Saturday, I'll be out of town, so I won't even be here. I'll be at my parents' house, wishing I was here doing the podcast instead. But anyway, everybody, I want to thank you for coming. Check out the merchandise store. Back the game if you haven't already. But at the least, check out the stream Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern. They're going to show alpha footage and everything. It'll be cool. You'll get to see what state the game is in. Remember, it's
going to show crafting.
Remember, it's still tech alpha. It's not even the game. It's the technology for the game.
They're getting there faster and faster.
Yeah, and you'll get to hear about crafting, which none of us really know that much about, except what has been in the BSC video for years. So you'll be on par with everyone on that part. When we find out about that Tuesday. So that'll be awesome.
That'll give me time to dissect the whole reveal, to come back with the new year with everything, every question I have.
What is the date on that? Let's see. New Year's. Once the new year starts, it will be, I believe, the 9th will be our first episode of the new year, and we are talking about crafting.
Yes.
Because crafting just came out. We will come back. We will talk about crafting. Kriss has been bouncing in his seat up and down for like 6 months wanting to talk about crafting, so we will finally do that. Might even have some kind of a surprise, maybe, I can hope, for that show. We'll see. Not saying anything else or promising anything, but we'll see what awesome stuff I can work out. And I will catch you on the new year.